Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Flash, and it's the last week of La Liga. We've got Euan from La Liga Lowdown, and we've got Martin Green, who's been ever present for about the last 5 years. Now, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button, and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that we will notify you of any content that comes through, and there's going to be plenty of content right across all world's sports as they start joining us from North America. So please subscribe if you haven't. Now, Real Madrid, champions. Well, they were champions elect. Now they're just champions. And we said that out of the two sides, we had to go with Real Madrid. Euan, no real surprise that Madrid get it done.
No, not at all, and not even really a surprise that they got it done so early. Well, I say early, but they got it done in the middle of July. I think if you'd said that at the start of the season, that would have been a bit of a surprise. But with a round to go, and even they didn't even need the win last night because Barcelona messed up their part of the bargain. So Real Madrid now with a 7-point lead going into the last round. So they absolutely crushed it. They didn't just win it by a bit, they've won it by a mile. Yeah, I mean, Martin, you know that my philosophy in all leagues last 4 or 5 weeks of the season is just go through all your underdogs because teams take their foot off the gas. But with this pandemic and closed doors and teams being either unfair or there's been lopsided, you just can't go that way, and yet it's still coming true.
I've just been betting on Real Madrid to win and unders on goals every week for the last 8 weeks and just made a fortune out of it. So Real Madrid are my new favourite team. I'm liking them a lot right now. Otherwise, yeah, it's been a bit of a mixed bag in results. Bit of a bloodbath the last round of fixtures. I think there was 9 red cards. It's like watching South American football, like Liga MX or something. The amount of tackles that were flying in, very, very bizarre circumstances. But congratulations to Real Madrid, fully deserved the title, and a bit difficult to find value, I think, in the final round of fixtures because so few teams have anything to play for, but hopefully we can find a few bets in amongst it all.
Yeah, finding the value is definitely going to be one of our main objectives today, Euan. Leganes need a miracle. Celta, obviously, we've got to be with them because I fancy they're going to get the job done with Leganes playing Madrid. And what about the top of the table? Do you see any value there?
Yeah, I mean, the top of the table's kind of done, isn't it? You know, we've got all the teams in the top 4 already qualified for the Champions League, already qualified a couple of weeks already. Sevilla, Atletico already in, so they don't really have much to play for either. The Europa League battle is still well alive. We'll get into that when we discuss some of those teams. But yeah, at the top of the table, none of the top 4, none of the big teams in La Liga have anything to play for, and even Valencia, they're still trying to get in Europa League, but they're probably not going to do it, and they're just a shambles as well. So the big teams that you'd normally be comfortable backing going into this round, they either have nothing to play for, they're in bad form, or if it's Real Madrid, well, they've just been out partying all night about 48 hours before the game. So all the big teams are a little bit different going into this round compared to a normal round right in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I think we just have to be a little bit careful, but with the likes of Real Madrid, they're going to have a massive squad. There's plenty of players that haven't even started playing. Now, before we kick off, then if you press the link in the description, that will take you over to Martin's, I think it's Martin's last article on La Liga, but there's other writers over there, Dave and Alex, and also there's other sports, there's other writers, so go over there and enjoy. And please, as it's our last La Liga show, please put your thumbs up, show appreciation, because I'm now going to have to go and convince the hierarchy that La Liga needs a standalone video, and we're only going to do that with your support, your subscriptions. So let's crack straight on. It's Valladolid at plus 138, draw plus 240, and Betis at plus 180, Euan.
Yeah, this is a weird one. Valladolid played against Eibar on Thursday night, and that was the only game that wasn't at 9 o'clock. And the reason for that was because it was the only game that meant absolutely nothing. And the reason why this is an early one again this time around is because there's nothing riding on it at all. Both these teams are safe from relegation, too far away from the Europa League. So we don't really know what to look at for this one. With this game, I might expect goals. We've known all season, everybody who's betting on La Liga knows Real Betis are conceding lots of goals and they're scoring lots of goals. There was a bit when the new manager came in where he put a back three and he started trying to just shore up the defence. Last couple of games he's moved back to a back four, so Betis scoring goals, conceding goals again. And then Valladolid, they have been quite good, keeping it tight all season. They've been really good. at the back, but their two starting centre-backs are both injured for this game. So they've got one of the young guys, Javi Sanchez, who hasn't played much at all, and then one of the guys from the actual B team having to come up and get a rare start there. So I think there could be goals in this one because Betis, they always score and concede, and Valladolid, well, this time around, I think they're going to be a bit shaky at the back.
Yeah, Martin, it looks like there's plenty of value on the away side because I think draw no bet or even Betis double chant looks like the way to go.
Yeah, I like that analysis there from Euan. It's not looking like the most exciting of games. I put a line through it because they've just got such differing styles. Betis are quite gung-ho, and I know that Valladolid like to keep things tight at the back and don't really concede, so didn't really offer a great deal for me on the final day of the season. But yeah, that bit of insight about the two centre-backs missing suggests that with a team with Real Betis firepower, they could cause problems here. So yeah, maybe if you were looking at giving Betis a slight plus handicap or draw no bet or something like that, might be the way to go.
And that's why we have you and all the boys from La Liga Lowdown, because they're actually on the ground. They're sniffing out everything. So we get the content from one side and we get the master betting analysis from the other. We're trying to cover all angles. Okay, let's go on. Atletico plus 105, draw plus 240, Sociedad plus 330. Euan, I don't think Atletico take their foot off the gas here, but not with the Champions League coming up.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, this is one of the teams that have already achieved their objective right at the start. If you look at everyone's form since the restart, Real Madrid obviously the most informed team. Second is Atletico Madrid ahead of Barcelona. They've been so good since the break, just a few draws here and there, albeit in some tricky fixtures. So Atletico Madrid have been absolutely flying. They've got the Champions League coming up. They won't, like you say, want to take their foot off the gas. And we've already got evidence of that because we saw the other night they'd already secured Champions League. They went away to Getafe, a tricky fixture for most teams, and they went 2-0 win, got the job done. So at home against Real Sociedad, I can see them going out, trying to get the win and making it tricky for Real Sociedad, who do need something in this game. They're one of the teams still chasing Europa League. An interesting dynamic, though, for this one is a draw would suit Real Sociedad, because if they get a draw, nobody can catch them. So maybe if it's all even going into the final stages, maybe Real Sociedad pack the defence a little bit. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at this one.
Martin, under 2.5 goals, I fancy a tight game.
Yeah, I fancy quite a tight game as well. I think a draw would be good enough for Atletico to sew up third place too, which does perhaps set alarm bells ringing. But their Champions League clash isn't for 4 weeks. So you would think that they wouldn't be too worried about fatigue or players getting injured in that time. They'll want to keep the momentum going. It's 7 wins and 3 draws since the restart for Atletico, which is, that's very impressive. Sociedad, yeah, they've picked up a bit in the last 2 games, but before that they were all over the place. And at Wanda Metropolitano, Atletico looked very, very solid, even without the fans there. So I fancy them to get the job done. Not a particularly high-scoring game. Been another bet that I keep doing, keeps paying off. Atletico under 4.5 goals, 2.2, I believe you can get on that, or maybe more. It was a banker last round of fixtures, Atletico to beat Getafe. They did it easily, so yeah, definitely get back on that one.
Okay, then Alaves plus 450, draw plus 320, and Barcelona minus 165. Barcelona, we called it 4 or 5 games ago. They've gone to pot, Euan.
Yeah, they really have, and it's quite disappointing just the end of the season, how it's just sort of fizzled out. You saw Lionel Messi speaking after the game. He seemed really angry at his teammates, and everybody's just kind of thrown in the towel a little bit. And you can even see that some of the players getting themselves suspended. Piqué suspended, Rakitic suspended, Firpo suspended for this one. To be fair, I could go on and on with all the players suspended. As you mentioned already, 9 red cards in that round. That means that and the yellow card accumulations means we've got 29 different players suspended in this round, which I think tells me that a lot of players they're fed up. They want to start their holidays early. In Barcelona, that's the case because they've got 3 guys out for that reason. One of the interesting dynamics I'll point out with this one is that right now you've got the B teams in Spain in the 3rd division. Many of them are in the playoffs to try and get into the 2nd division. And why am I bringing that up? Well, because the B team coach at Barcelona, he wanted some of the young guys that are in the first team, your Ansu Fati, Araujo, players like that, to come down and play for the B team to try and get them promoted. But Kiki Setien said no. He was adamant that he wants him for this weekend's game, which I think with nothing on the line sort of tells you I think Kiki Setien is planning to play a lot of young players in this one. Otherwise, why would he take them away from a competitive fixture? So I think we'll see a lot of young players in this one. It could make it a bit more open. Alaves, of course, have nothing to play for either. They just secured relegation. So this could be a bit of a pre-season friendly with one very happy team, one very sad team, one very angry Leo Messi, who does want to keep his position in the top of the scoring charts. He's only 2 goals ahead of Benzema for that top scorer award. So he'll want to get another one just to make sure of that.
Martin, I quite like the sound of young players coming in to try and impress, try and get themselves cemented into that Barcelona first team. So you might see a little bit more freedom of play because so far they've been so disjointed.
Yeah, you might do. We all know how talented the Barcelona academy is, and it might be an open game, maybe both teams to score, something like that. Yeah, it just doesn't really appeal from a betting perspective, this game, because neither team's got anything to play for. There's obviously a golfing class between the two sides, but Barcelona have been horrific recently, and Alaves seem to be picking up a bit. So, yeah, I think it's time for them to forget about this game and try and regroup in time for the Champions League. Yeah, just desperately poor. No energy or creativity in midfield for Barcelona. Seems like they've got to do a lot of work in the summer and stop buying forwards and maybe tighten up a bit at the back and bring in some energetic midfielders to go alongside De Jong.
Okay, there might be some people out there looking at Alaves double chance. I mean, they're plus 450 for the win, so you're probably going to see double chance at around maybe 150, 160. Cracking game this. I know, and it's mad me saying this. Espanyol plus 500, draw plus 280, Celta minus 150 Euan. Celta have to deliver. I think that this is an absolute knocker of Celta to win and over 1.5 goals.
Absolutely, and Celta Vigo, so just to explain the relegation situation, Celta Vigo are just outside the relegation zone, 1 point ahead of the Leganes, who are in the relegation zone. It's between those two teams. One of them has to go down, and it couldn't be more different in their fixtures because Leganes have to play the champions Real Madrid, and Celta Vigo get to play Espanyol, the bottom place team. Okay, they're away from home, and okay, it's Celta Vigo, and we've already said right here that sometimes they're a bit hot and cold, a bit unpredictable, but this time with everything on the line, they have to go for it, don't they? Espanyol with a few suspensions as well. Raul de Thomas, their best player. Sergi Darder, in my view, their second best player, both out with suspension. 8 losses in a row for Espanyol. They've showed no signs of trying to maintain any pride. I'm sorry to say it for Leganes fans, but I think Celta Vigo are going to make whatever Leganes do redundant because they're going to go there and win, and yeah, by a few goals maybe.
Yeah, Martin, it's Celta Vigo, and then how do you find the value? Because if Celta Vigo don't deliver, and you know that Real Madrid have been on holiday, Leganes, this could be an unbelievably twist in the towel late on.
Yeah, exactly. Leganes done very well in recent weeks and they're dreaming of a great escape. Just a point behind Celta Vigo now, who have lost their last 2 games. So you might be tempted to avoid Celta Vigo, but I think you've got to back them really against Espanyol, who, like Euan said, they've thrown in the towel. They're going down with a whimper. No firepower without the RDT up front. It's not looking good for them. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for Celta Vigo that Real Madrid don't have anything to play for in that game, because if it had gone down to the wire with Barcelona, they would be pretty guaranteed that Real Madrid would beat Leganes. Now they've got a real motivation to go to Espanyol and get the job done. I think Nolito is going to be suspended, but they've still got the firepower to gun down this Espanyol side. I'm not sure I can really see Espanyol scoring. I was just looking at under 4.5 goals as well for Espanyol, just to get it up to 1.91. But yeah, I wouldn't put anyone off over 1.5 goals either, because something
the one
like
thing
2-1
to say is I probably can see Espanyol scoring because both of Celta Vigo's goalkeepers are injured. Remember back a few weeks ago when they bought a backup emergency goalkeeper, used that role to bring in Nolito. Well, now their starting goalkeeper got injured as well, so they're on to one of their youth team goalkeepers. He's been a bit shaky, so yeah, maybe Espanyol could get a goal in this one.
Okay, so we'll go with over 1.5 or under 4.5. You pay your money, you take your chance. Now, Granada plus 100, draw plus 270, and Bilbao at plus 290. I like Bilbao. I'm going to keep a close eye on them next season. A couple of additions, and I think they're going to be dangerous, Euan.
Yeah, they were unlucky the other night. They lost, of course, that game to Leganes, but they had a very early red card for the goalkeeper, and that changed everything. This one, though, with Granada, they're still in the race for the Europa League, so you've got to have that in mind. You know, Granada have been a kind of weird team all season. They've won matches they shouldn't have. They've lost matches they maybe should have won. They've won away from home. They've lost at home. They're a very quite unpredictable team as well. So, this is maybe the one that I've kind of want to avoid the most out of all of the fixtures of this weekend because, yeah, Granada is the team since the restart, especially where you just don't know what you're going to get with them.
Yeah, you know you're going to get goals, though. And often they don't score, Euan. So, Martin, we're looking for Granada to score. So, do we not complicate it and just go Granada plus 100?
Maybe. I'm also I'm also inclined just to leave this one alone. Yeah, Bilbao are a decent team. They need a couple of signings, but the problem is they've got such a limited talent pool to choose from in the Basque region. It's hard for them to find quality players. They sell the likes of Aymeric Laporte and Kepa Arrizabalaga, but then there's just no one. They're sitting on all this cash, but who have they really got to buy? I think that's pretty much their limit at the moment, sort of 6th, 7th place. Obviously, Granada look like a very unpredictable team this season. Done very, very well for the budget that they've got. Very impressed, really. Only one defeat in 5 games. So, yeah, you might want to go for Granada in this one. But, yeah, it has to be a pass for me. They're just a bit too unpredictable, I think.
Barca Man says Granada and Bilbao both teams to score at 1.88, which is like minus 115. We've got Jack in there, Bilbao as better players. Yeah, but are they tuned in, Jack? Ryan, hey Brian, how you doing? Mark Davis, Flash, do you live in the UK? No, I live in Costa Rica and I'm very, very lucky to do so. Now let's move on. The big game at the bottom of the table. It's Leganes at plus 175, would normally be about plus 750. Draw plus 280 and Madrid a massive plus 160. Do we say that the Madrid reserves come and get the job done here, Euan?
Yeah, they probably do, and you're right. It's going to be the reserves. The job's done. Zidane's going to give some of his players a rest. Some of the youth team players can get a chance. He's got his whole squad pretty much to choose from. Only Marcelo is out for this one. So, yeah, Real Madrid, they've got the depth that even if they play their B team is better than most teams. First team, certainly Leganes and their first team. But this dynamic of Leganes coming into this, trying to fight for their lives, it's not just that they've been doing well recently, 10 points out of the past 12 available. It's that they've not conceded a goal in their past 4 matches. They've sharpened up in the defence. They play with that really annoying back 5 anyway, where they just try to draw almost every game and then pinch something. Even when they went to Eibar last week, they were drawing 0-0, needing points to save their lives, and the goalkeeper got booked for time waste, and they just set out for a draw every single game. They have to win this one, but you would see them sort of sitting with a draw for the first, 3/4 of this game, trying to nick something at the other end. It's going to be interesting to see if Oscar Rodriguez plays, and that's something I'm really looking to see before I make my mind up on this one, because Oscar Rodriguez has been the best player for Leganes all season, and he's on loan from Real Madrid. He is eligible to play, but there's been the past few weeks a bit of mystery about where he's gone. The coach said he wasn't injured, but he was saying he was injured. Then the coach said that he didn't mean that. It's all very unclear, and the rumours are that Real Madrid want him to not get another injury, to not play against them in this game if there was something riding on it. The interesting thing as well with Oscar, his agent just happens to be Sergio Ramos's brother. So there's all this dynamic going on, all this murkiness. Will he play? Won't he play? I think now with Real Madrid having wrapped up the title, if he's fit, he can play. And if he can play, he can produce a moment of magic. And maybe, just maybe, Leganes pull off this miracle.
Wow, it would be a miracle as well. Martin, when we say about Real Madrid's reserves, we're talking about the likes of Gareth Bale and Isco. So, I mean, when do we ever see, this is one of those times when you see and you look a gift horse in the mouth, because when do we ever see Real Madrid at plus 160? It's like one of them you can look after and go, what a gift that was, especially if Leganes have got to try and go and win the game. A draw is no good. So if they go and they have a pop, then Real Madrid is just going to hit them on the break, and that plus 160, I just can't pass it up.
Yeah, it's an astonishing price, really, on Real Madrid. Yeah, pretty much everything you guys said, I put in my article, which is over at sportsbookreview.com. Real Madrid's reserve team can beat Leganes' first team any day of the week, really. Yeah, it's a bit of a question of motivation because Real Madrid are in party mode. As we've seen with Liverpool, they've kind of fallen apart since winning the Premier League. But yeah, it's a final opportunity for some of those sort of squad players, as it were, to impress Zidane, try and work their way into his reckoning for the Man City game. Yeah, I can see him leaving out the stars that have really put their bodies on the line. I can't see the likes of Benzema and Ramos playing in this game. But yeah, they've got enough quality and enough depth in their squad that, I mean, it'd be amazing if Bale could come on. Normally, he just sort of pretends he's asleep on the sidelines, doesn't he? But love to see him get one last game for them. Yeah, I just think at plus 160, what a phenomenal price. Got to take it. Also, quite like both teams to score as well. Just think by the nature of Leganes having to go for the win, that they'll leave some gaps at the back. But I do think they can trouble a reserve Real Madrid defence. You get about 1.75 on both teams to score. You can get, yeah, plus 160, which is 2.6 on Real Madrid to win. Has to be worth a go.
It's funny you say that because Sarkozy is saying both teams to score is the best bet in this game. Yeah, you can do that, or you do Real Madrid and both teams to score, Real Madrid and over 2.5. Under 3.5 is tempting. I'm not so sure. Last game of the season, it could be mad. It could be a 4-2-5. You know what Real Madrid are like? They can go bonkers, and Leganes are only going to go forward, so just be careful. But Madrid at plus 160, and both teams to scores high as well, so there's plenty of value there. Levante plus 450. The draw at 280 and Getafe at minus 25. I'm not sure that Getafe should be 124 minus 125, Euan.
Getafe have just been so weird though, haven't they? They're kind of difficult to work out since the break because they were so good before, they've been so poor since. The thing about Getafe just now is they're really, really short of players, just bodies, not even their best players. So many players suspended. They had a brawl recently against Villarreal. They lost a lot of players for 2 or 3 games. For that one, they got players suspended again. They got players out injured. They've got players who have left the club. Their contracts came up. They couldn't reach an extension. So they've even been struggling to fill their bench in the past few weeks. And you can tell that some of the guys who are playing every single game, like Cucurella, who's one of their best players, he just looks absolutely shattered. Yeah, Getafe is a difficult one to know. And then Levante as well, because they're already safe. They've got nothing to play for. But even when they had something to play for, they were hot and cold. They just kind of like to go for it, throw caution to the wind. And they're doing that even more now that they have nothing to play for, nothing to worry about. We saw that with the crazy Celta Vigo game, that 3-2. They went away there against a team that had to get something, and Levante had some fun, won 3-2. So this time, Getafe have something to play for, Levante do not. But when Levante kind of go for it and have a bit of fun, there's usually goals. You don't like to bet on Getafe as a guarantee of goals, but with Levante, their games have been a lot of fun to watch recently.
Yeah, they just got goals, and they, as you say, they just throw caution to the wind, they go forward. Levante at plus 450, I cannot believe that. And then that means that Levante double chance. I think the trap is Getafe at minus 125. Levante, beware a side who love to go forward, and now they're playing with freedom, Martin.
Yeah, I had both teams to score in that Levante v Celta Vigo game, which came in pretty quickly, so you can sit back and just enjoy it after that. Yeah, very impressed with the way Levante have been playing recently. They seem to have an ability to go for it if they want, or to sit back and soak up pressure if they want. It's quite a good flexibility there. Feel sorry for Getafe, really. They were fantastic last season. They were looking great this time around. The nuances of the restart just haven't been kind to them at all. Small squad, ageing squad, high volume of games. It's all just come apart for them. And yeah, I can't really understand why they're at minus 125 and Levante are all the way out at plus 150. I was looking at Levante, giving them a plus 1 Asian handicap in this one at 1.72.
Okay, so is the Levante not plus 450?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So, I mean, that's massive price there. Okay, here's another one that might just show a bit of value. Osasuna at minus 125, probably been celebrating since winning against Barcelona. Draw plus 280 and Mallorca at plus 355. Many a time you see a side, they try and close the door after the horse has bolted, Euan.
Yeah, you see that a lot with this Mallorca side. I don't know. I think they're going to be so deflated after being mathematically confirmed that they were relegated the other night. We're talking about how Leganes have a chance. For the past few weeks, we thought Mallorca might be the one that takes it down to the final day. And you were looking at this fixture. We know how terrible their away form is. 5 points on the road all season. That's why they're going down. But you were thinking maybe Osasuna away, if they have something to play for, they could win that. Now that Mallorca are down, now they have nothing to play for. Osasuna as well, they've been really good over the past 6 matches. If you look at the form book, Osasuna, the 4th most informed team in all of La Liga over the past 6 matches. I'm going for Osasuna for this one. I'm sorry. I think Mallorca are going to bow out pretty embarrassingly after giving it a bit of a fight for a while. I think they're going to go out with a pretty bad defeat at Osasuna.
Yeah, there's a good and a bad. Obviously, the bad is that we're not going to be able to have Mallorca at home next season because obviously over the past couple of years they've been great at home, so we've known to get good value. The good side is that sides are not going to have to travel to the island and then we have to worry about their away forms. So, I mean, Martin, do you see that it's just a home win? But also sooner maybe they're going to have departed. They're not going to have a lot to play for and Mallorca may just come and just have some fun.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a worry on the final day of the season, which is why I would advise keeping stakes reasonably low. But I do fancy Osasuna to win this one. They've won 2 on the bounce, and that includes a Celta Vigo side that were desperate for points, and Barcelona, who were still in the title race. That's very strong form. Mallorca have been horrendous on the road all season. Even having no fans, it hasn't made any difference at all. As soon as they fly to the mainland, they lose invariably. And they again, another team that are going down without much of a fight. Sad for them, but yeah, the form book suggests that you have to go for Osasuna in this one. You can get 1 point minus 125 there, so 1.8. I think it's going up to about 1.85 with some books. So that looks appealing. Just go for it, home win.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think it's a bit of a smelly old game. I'm still licking my lips about Levante being plus 450 at home. I think both teams just goals for Levante. I've just got Levante on my brain. Now, I know it's great, and I just keep looking down, and I've got 20 different words, but Levante's this big. Sevilla at minus 105. The draw plus 275, and Valencia plus 300. Do Sevilla put out their strongest side? Again, it's one of those at the top 4. Do they turn up, Euan, and do the business?
I think they do. I think they go for it. Sevilla, since the restart, they're the team that's rotated the least out of everybody. Lopetegui knows his 11. When they're there, he's been playing them. I don't see why he would change that now. And Valencia, they've just been so poor. They won the last round, but do not be fooled by that. They played Espanyol. We've talked about how poor Espanyol are. Valencia had them at home. They beat them 1-0. They could easily have lost that one. Espanyol hit the post a couple of times. Espanyol had some good chances. Valencia very, very lucky to win that one against Espanyol, which tells you just how poor they are. So, yeah, take that result from Valencia last round with the biggest pinch of salt you can find. And, yeah, Sevilla, I think they'll come out, get the job done. There's nothing really to play for, but third place is still a potential there for Sevilla, and there's a bit of prestige that comes with that, and a lot more money as well, a good €6 or so million more. So the club directors will be having a little chap on the dressing room door before the game saying, here, come on, let's go and get this third place, and we'll put a bit more money towards the next season and the Champions League, which they'll be back in.
Martin, are you a believer in Sevilla? And you know that obviously their season's not over on Sunday just because the league's finished.
I'm very impressed with Sevilla. Yeah, unbeaten since the restart. I can't see them losing this game. So I had a sneaking suspicion that a little fear that there might be a draw. But I mean, it would make sense to me to bet on Sevilla to win it and then do a small stake on the draw just to cover yourself. But yeah, this is definitely leaning towards Sevilla. A season to forget for Valencia, who were in the top 4 for the last 2 campaigns, but nowhere near this time around, and Sevilla are the team to replace them. So well done. Good first season for Lopetegui, and interesting to see what they do next time around.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them. I'm still looking at Levante. Okay, Villarreal minus 185, the draw plus 375, and Eibar at plus 550. I thought this was another team that are massively overpriced at plus 550 because Eibar, they love it home or away. We just don't care. We're going to come and play. Euan.
Yeah, Eibar's another one of those unpredictable teams. They beat Valladolid the other day, but they changed up pretty much the whole lineup. The coach Mendilibar's been doing that all season. He'll just put whoever he wants in. And yeah, Eibar in the past, the last few seasons, they've often had a few good final day of the season results. Everything's fine, and they go and get a good result in the final day of the season. And it's with the same coach. Mendilibar has been there 5 years, so we're not talking about a different coaching staff or anything like that. So Mendilibar in the past has sort of just let the players go, have some fun on the final day. And when you go and have some fun against Villarreal, who we know score a lot of goals and concede a lot of goals, I think there could be a lot of goals in this one. I don't know who's going to win because neither of these teams really have anything to play for at all. But I think this could be another one where you look at the goals because Villarreal scoring a lot, conceding a lot. Eibar, if they go and have a bit of fun, they can score too, they can concede as well. So this could be an interesting one with both teams to score.
Okay, we're maybe looking at the Alex Classic, Martin.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the sort of match I don't like that much because, like you say, they've just got nothing to play for. It's end of the season time, and you never quite know which teams are going to have packed their bags already and thinking about well, no one's really going on proper summer holidays anymore, but having a bit of time off. I'm just looking at the price on both teams to score. You can get 1.8, which is minus 125. Yeah, I'd say that probably looks worth a shout. I mean, both teams to score paid off in each of their last 5 games, hasn't it? Villarreal. 4 games. They're not great at the back, but a lot of firepower going forward. Their form just seems to have tailed off. They were magnificent, and then suddenly lost a couple of games. But very good season for them. Well done to Eibar for staying up as well. Could put on an entertaining show at the last day of the season. I wouldn't be comfortable going on the outrights either. But yeah, maybe both teams to score does look like the way to play it. But yeah, I'm not putting a huge stake on this one.
Okay, before we have the roundup from the lads and try and pick out their best bets, maybe a parlay, maybe a banker. I've got my 2 already to go through to the SBR 6-match parlay, and it'll obviously be the last one. We did 2 from Serie A yesterday, and obviously La Liga came up with 2 out of 2 last night, but we need 2 fresh ones. Now, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that we will notify you on all of our content. And if you press the link in the description, that will take you over to Martin's article. And not just Martin's article, there's Dave and there's Alex on the soccer side, but there's also other authors, other writers on other sports. Please. There's 83 of you watching, but only 32 thumbs up. Please give your thumbs up to both Euan and Martin. Euan, give me your best bets, please.
Yeah, the one that I'm so convinced about is Celta Vigo away from home at Espanyol. I think they'll do it. We mentioned before, you can get a bit more value there by putting a few goals on this one. I think they'll score. I think Espanyol could score as well, but this could be a kind of 3-1, something like that. And we've seen Espanyol collapse. So I think Celta Vigo are going to start well, score early and really go for it and just snuff out this relegation battle early on. And then the other one that I really like is Osasuna. I've been really impressed with them the last few weeks. I don't think it was a fluke at all that they won at the Camp Nou. Obviously, nobody expected that. But if you look at their form, they've been good in general over the past few weeks, even though they've been pretty safe even since the restart. So Osasuna playing at home at a deflated Mallorca, that's another one that I'm really keen on. Okay,
Martin, give me a little rundown of your bets, please. And if there's a parlay, it's a parlay. But obviously, I want your banker.
Sure. Yeah, I think Atletico Madrid to beat Real Sociedad at 2.15 you can get on that. Looks like a great price. If you want a little bit more value, you can do Atletico and under 4.5 goals at 2.3. I'm still going to go Celta Vigo and under 4.5 goals at 1.91, just because I know that Espanyol have lost a few games 1-0 recently. But yeah, obviously, if you're thinking the other way, go for over 1.5 goals instead. Both teams to score in that Leganes versus Real Madrid game for me, 1.75. And I'm going to get on Real Madrid at 2.6. 2.6. So the odds could change when we see the teams. So I'm going to get on it now, but I'll probably bet on them again once we see the starting 11s as well. Levante +1 Asian handicap against Getafe at 1.72. I'm also going for Osasuna to beat Mallorca, got 1.87 on that. And I do like Sevilla to beat Valencia, but maybe just a little stake on the draw, just to cover your back.
Okay, and a banker?
because of their home form, because they've been so strong, I'm tempted to go for Atletico Madrid. It was my banker last time. They're going to want to sew up that third place. Don't see why not. Go for it again. But also like Osasuna. Maybe put them in a parlay.
Okay, well, I'm putting forward Celta and under 4.5 goals at 1.91 going into the 6-match parlay, and Sevilla at -105. Don't complicate it. I'm going to go Sevilla at -105 and Celta under 4.5 at 1.91. I'm definitely having a bit of Levante double chance. I will have a little bit of Levante to win at +450 as well. I like Atletico. I think Barcelona might not win the game, so that might be a chance to go with Alaves. Listen, it's been great having you, Euan. Hopefully we start again. I think it's in about 6 weeks' time La Liga kicks off. But you listen, it's been brilliant having all your content. I know you're an Eibar fan, so we'll cheer on Eibar for you as well. Martin, we'll see you soon on Premier League Punters, and we might even touch on the FA Cup, but we'll just touch on it. Thanks to everyone in the chat. It's been absolutely brilliant. Listen, you are our third guest. Content's been absolutely great. Your judgment's been great. Let's finish off in style. You all take care. Cheers, Martin. Cheers, Euan. And cheers to you in the chat. Take care.